Okay, happy Sunday and happy Sunday before our Fit to Cut program. So I know some of you might be hopping on live. I'm going to be doing these every Sunday, probably right around the same time, 5 o'clock. I can adjust it based on everybody else, maybe if there's a better time, but Sundays kind of around this time before dinner seem to work best for me. But really what I want to use it for is for you to kind of look at the week ahead, and also to look back at the week behind us once we get going and kind of look at what worked, what didn't work, what kind of adjustments we need to make, and then what questions you might have for me. I'm also going to be sharing what's working for me in terms of maybe food that I'm eating, just kind of the way that I'm scheduling my workouts, how I'm getting my protein intake. I want to answer all your questions about carb cycling and intermittent fasting, and anything that you might have along the way. So we're going to use this as our kind of our one-on-one coaching, but just so that you know, you have me for the entire month, one-on-one when you need me. So we have our group chat in Facebook called Fit to Cut. I'm going to be posting stuff in there. You can ask any question in there, of any sort. It's always kind of nice to ask in there or ask in the Facebook group as well, because somebody else might have the same question. But don't hesitate to message me on Instagram or Facebook or text, however we communicate best. I know everybody's in a different mode. And whatever works best for you, you can connect with me. So any questions you might have along the way, just ask. So what I've noticed, as I've been doing this now for a year, is that when we do these signature programs, there's a lot involved. And there are a lot of questions that you're going to have, and I don't want you to feel like you're on an island or you're just trying to figure it out for yourself. I know when I started, I didn't know anybody in the community, in the Fit Cycle community, so I kind of felt alone, except the fact that the community was so amazing. So I just kind of dove in and asked questions and really kind of just learned as I went through and I did the Fit to Cut the very first time in August of 2023, and noticing the changes in my body and noticing how just that simple thing of adding more protein just was I like significant changes that were happening to my body. So obviously, becoming a Fit Cycle coach has just been such an amazing experience for me. I'm so excited to help you reach all your goals. So I want this to be really successful for you. I want you to come out of this 4 weeks with all the tools necessary to continue on your own or continue with me. If you want to continue one-on-one coaching, we can set up a plan for that. If you want to continue with the Fit Cycle app, you can do that as well. As you all know, you will automatically be rolled into the membership, but if you don't want to be rolled into the membership, you can just go online and cancel. It's super simple. When you roll into the membership, it is $39 a month, or there is a year that you can pay for a year, and it comes down to about $20 a month. So I love these workouts. I have noticed the changes in my body just from doing these workouts. I do other workouts when I want to as well. So it doesn't have to be your sole workout, but I would highly, highly recommend doing at least 3 to 4 of the strength training workouts throughout the week. If you want to substitute any of the lists for something else you want to do, maybe you love yoga, maybe you love Pilates, that's so good for you. So continue doing that. Don't think that you have to just do this. If you want to replace, 2 of the workouts a week with something else you're doing, then by all means do that. Because what you're really going to notice throughout this is that you're learning about the nutrition piece so much, and then you will understand how it kind of matches with the workout. So anyway, so I don't want to keep you too long. I know I'm going to have this recorded. It's recording right now, and I'm going to post it in our chat group. But just a few details. Make sure that you have listened to Lindsay Holsey. So she was my coach. She's the one who this is her program. She created this program. And last year or a year and a half ago, she started onboarding Fit Cycle coaches. So she just did it by herself. She built her app. She did all the things. And about a year and a half ago, she put out a certification program. I had my eye on it for a while because I love the program and I wanted to help women, like you, just, dive into your nutrition piece and become, just more comfortable working out, more comfortable with how you match your foods with your workouts. And because I noticed such a change in my body, I wanted to help others kind of get there as well, especially as I navigate through this menopause stage of my life. Okay, so make sure you are in the Facebook group. I believe you all are. Make sure you are following along with everything she posts because she is amazing. There's going to be a lot of education happening. And sometimes the posts are really long, but they're so good to read. You learn so much from her. Go in and make sure you listen to the video that she posted today. It's all the pre-work stuff. She also dives deep into intermittent fasting and carb cycling. So you all have your macros set for you. You are all adjusted based on your goals. And if I've been working with you for a while, understanding what you need. So there is a kind of this thing when I get to know you more and I understand like, what your body takes, because everybody's different. My macros are adjusted differently for me based on what I know my body needs. So everybody's different. So as I get to know you, I start to understand what works for you. That's why these weekly check-ins are really good and the day-to-day check-ins are really good because then I can see what's working for you. Like if you are so hungry every single day, why are you so hungry? What are we missing? If you are so full, which is a good thing, what are you doing? And then what can we do to support you, throughout? And then how can we also help each other? So I'm also big on like sharing food ideas and recipes because I kind of tend to stick to what I might call boring or might be called boring to most people because it works for me. So I don't really like get outside my box very much when it comes to my nutrition. I'm kind of just in this tunnel like focus because I know it works. But if you have other ideas, share them with us. Share them in the chat group that we have on Facebook, just so we can kind of help each other and support each other through this. So, couple details. Obviously, you're in the Facebook group, you're in the chat group. And then we have these every Sunday. You also have me, you can text me, you can message me on Instagram, Facebook at any time. You should be logged into or you should have the MyFitnessPal app. If you're using the free version, you might not be able to set your days. I'm not sure what the free version offers, but you might not be able to set your days for carb cycling. So you're going to have to kind of manually do it that day. So like have your notebook next to you, knowing what foods you're eating. And on our low carb days, you want to make sure that you're hitting your low carb calories and your low carb day calories, and then the 40 grams of carbs, no more than 40 grams of carbs. Go in and listen to Lindsay as to why we do this. I think all of you should try carb cycling. If you have done it before, you know the magic behind it. If you haven't, that's okay, but I know all of you have been tracking your macros, so this is the time to try it. Even if you only do 2 low carb days a week instead of the 3, or you just try one, you want to, do it on a day that you're doing your HIIT or your cardio workout. So the way our program is set up is that every Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, we're not lifting heavy weights. You might be lifting a weight to do a certain exercise, but it's not considered a strength training day. It's considered a cardio day, a HIIT day, or a list day, or abs, that kind of thing. So that's the day that you want to have your low carb day. Okay, you need your carbs. Your carbs are going to be for strength training. Your carbs are going to be that first level that your body's going to go to for energy. But then on these low carb days, when we're doing our cardio, our HIIT, we don't need all those carbs. So then we're kind of going to deplete all that glycogen storage out of our system. And then we're going to burn fat. So that's our goal, right? It's to burn that fat. So that is why carb cycling is so good. The other thing we are doing is our intermittent fasting. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there. There's a lot of science behind it. There's some positives that people talk, I mean, some really good positives, but then you'll also maybe read something that, maybe it spikes your cortisol, that kind of thing. I am a huge proponent of intermittent fasting. When I do those two together, the carb cycling and the intermittent fasting, that's when like the changes really start to happen. So if you're somebody that is already doing 12 hours, no problem, because maybe you're closing your kitchen at 8 and eating at 8, or you're closing at 7 and eating at 7, then try to push it to a 14, maybe 15. The goal would be to get to the 16-hour mark. Then within that 8-hour window, that's when you're hitting it hard with all your protein, right? So that is where the challenge lies, because when you're eating between maybe 12 and 8, you're really trying to get in all that protein, but you're also feeling really full. So you want to make sure you spread it out enough so that you're not like, oh gosh, I'm force feeding myself. If you're hitting your calories, you're not overeating because you are all set at a deficit, just so you know that. I know it feels like it, but you are not overeating. So, maybe have your breakfast around 11 or 12 and then hit that like lunch hour right around 2 or 3, a snack around 4, 5-ish, and then dinner at 7, however you want to do it, but also making sure that you're hitting your protein. So I always go protein first. If it doesn't have 20 or 30 grams of protein in it, it's like off the table for me. It's just not going in my mouth. And it's just kind of I've just gotten used to doing that. So I have all my specific foods that I like to eat. Today is Sunday, so I did a little meal prep. I don't do a whole lot because my husband does most of the nighttime cooking, the dinner cooking. So I do breakfast, lunch, and snacks for myself throughout the week, making sure I do protein shakes for breakfast. And then I do like the Oikos 20-gram yogurt. I do a lot of that throughout the week. Those are snacks. I also just made a whole thing of tuna with egg, so that I have those prepped for the week. What else do I have? I might have a protein bar if need be, if I'm like on the run, but really I try to stick with my structured eating. So I usually take about 80 grams of protein to work with me. And then between breakfast and after school, I've eaten 80 grams of protein. So then when I get home, the goal is to get the other grams in. So I know it's not always easy, but once you've got it structured and you know what you're doing, then it just kind of becomes second nature. So also get yourself set up with your workout. So are you working out at the gym? Are you working out at home? And if you are, maybe have, your clothes laid out, get those ready today, get your weights out, get your resistance bands out, just kind of mentally do that and then go through the app. And tomorrow's a leg day. So look through the app and see what we're doing so that you understand the circuit and all that stuff. So you're not like, oh my gosh, what am I doing this? Especially if you're like me at 5:45 in the morning and I do my workouts half asleep. So I just need them to really be easy, not the workout easy, but just following it, kind of an easy system. And I feel like this app is so easy to follow. You can also access if you go to train.thefitcycle.com, you can also access your workouts on your computer. So if you're someone like that, you like to see them differently. When I first started this program, I would print all my workouts out and I would just write things on them. And now I just flip through the app, no problem. But it does take some time to get used to, I will say that. I think all of you have been in the app at one time or another, so I think you're pretty familiar with it. But please ask me any questions along the way. The resource section is really, really important because that's where you're going to find all of your menus. So if you haven't already gone through that section, please do. I also sent out an email yesterday with all these high carb recipes, low carb recipes, everything that has macro counts to it, and then also sweets like desserts and stuff. Everything has a macro count set to it. So that's really, really nice. So in your MyFitnessPal, the majority of you are using MyFitnessPal. If you can connect with me, please do. So you go to your settings, go to friends, and then you add me. I'm Sarah Activewear. Once you've added me, you also have to go into your settings and set your, let me see what it says, how to get there. You go to settings, you go to your sharing and privacy, and then diary sharing, and then click friends only. And then I'll be able to see your food plan. So this is for you and I, so I can look and see and make some adjustments along the way as we go. If we don't get connected via MyFitnessPal and you're using another logging app, then make sure every day you are posting your macros. Either you're sharing them with me in the group or in our chat group, or you're sharing them in the group under the day's post so that I can see and I can support you along the way to make sure I help you hit your macros because that's key. Okay. And just like I think Lindsay has said, and maybe you've heard, but so calories, that is king, right? So you want to hit our calories. Our protein, that's queen. So that's the next one, right? So calories, then protein. Then if you're maybe you go over a little bit in fat, maybe you go a little bit over in carbs, those two can be kind of like a little, interchangeable. So some days I'm pretty high up on my carbs, some days I hardly hit my carbs, but I go over in fat. Just make sure if you're going over in fat that you are, and carbs, that you're really trying to eat, foods that are good for you. So the fat foods that are good for you would be like your olive oils, your avocados, your avocado oil, um, salmon or red meat, right? Those are higher in fat, but also those also do have protein. So that's really good. And then your carbohydrates, you want to stick to like grains, oats, legumes, beans, like things that are, come from the earth as opposed to, all the other stuff. But also, if you're, make sure when you're tracking, like I use a scale to track because when I am adding in something that I really like my chips, I just measure them out. I put them in a little baggie, and that's what I know, I know how to track that. Because a lot of times on the back of the bag, it'll tell you how many crackers or how many chips you get for this, but then it'll also say 1 ounce or 2 ounce or whatever it is. And I notice that when I weigh it, it's actually, you get a little more. So I always weigh my food. So that's a good thing too. If you don't have a scale, a kitchen scale, do that as well. Make sure today you take your measurements because measurements are going to really, you're going to see a huge difference just in the measurements. The scale might not move as much as you want it to, depending on how much you have to lose. This takes a while for the scale to get caught up, but the measurements are what are you're gonna really see the difference. And then obviously how your clothes fit, and then taking those pre and post pictures. You're gonna want those pictures, even if you don't share them with anybody else but yourself. You're gonna want those pictures. So put on like a sports bra and a pair of shorts, and you don't have to have anybody take them for you. You can just put your camera up and take a few. I usually just leave it on video, and then I'll just like, you know, take the videos and turn those into pictures just by screenshotting the videos once I hit pause. So super easy. Do that today too. Um, so we're going to focus tomorrow on getting our workout in, opening our kitchen after 12 hours of after 12 hours of closing it, or if you're already work your way up to 16, somewhere in between that. So maybe you're at 14 hours. Try to do that tomorrow, and then the next day we'll add in another hour of fasting. And then tomorrow's a high carb day, so look at your macros, see where you're at. I always kind of work backwards as far as like I've already plugged in. If you're already connected to me on MyFitnessPal, you already see my lunch, my breakfast, and my lunch in MyFitnessPal for tomorrow. I like to put it in ahead of time. It's basically telling me this is what I'm going to eat. And it's so great because when you're like, it's already done for you, you're like, oh, I get to eat that. Like I've already logged it. I get to eat that. So it's kind of a fun thing. Also, yeah, so working backwards, like I know that when my husband cooks, I have to kind of pay attention to obviously what's in it, fats, what carbs, what protein. I'm always shooting for the most protein I can get. So I work backwards from that, from whatever we're having. So, and then the rest of the day. And I usually leave like my biggest allotment of calories for my dinner, just because that's just kind of how my day works. But that's totally like however you guys do it works for you, or whatever works for you, do that. So let me just make sure I've kind of covered everything that I wanted to say to you. So every Sunday I'll pop on here at 5 o'clock. I might have to change it just depending on what's going on, but I want to be here just for your live conversations. And so you can ask me questions. If you can't hop on live, then ask the questions in the group. And then when I come on here, I'll answer them out loud so that everybody can hear it. So, but I'm so excited you're doing this. This program, like I said, has been like legit game changer just for really learning the why behind the what. Like, why are we eating like this? Why does it work for us? Why is protein important? All those things. So, just plug in. If you have like a weekend where you're like, oh, I just blew it, right? Plug into the group on Monday and do all the things and just jump right back in. If you are someone that enjoys to have a drink on the weekend or during the week, when we log alcohol, we log it differently. I plugged that into an email in the email I sent out yesterday, how to log your alcohol. So alcohol is really not a nutrient, obviously, we know that. But there are a couple different ways to log it. What I'm going to tell you to do is log it as a carbohydrate. Okay. And so you're going to take the amount of calories in that drink, and because you're logging as a carbohydrate, you're going to divide it by four. So if there's 100 calories in that drink, you divide it by four, that's 25. So it's 25 carbs for that drink. Now, if you look online and you look up a glass of Chardonnay, it's going to tell you it's only 3 to 4 grams of carbs. And that's really not the case. And then also when we're drinking, our body is not processing anything else. It's working so hard just to digest and process the alcohol that it's not digesting and processing the food we just ate. So it is taking a lot more of our energy to process alcohol. So just make sure you log it correctly. I was logging it incorrectly for so long, and I think it definitely hindered kind of my progress at the time because I didn't realize how it needed to be logged. So log it as a carb, and however many calories it is, divide that by four, and that's how many carbohydrates it has. So that's fun, right? So yeah, obviously enjoy the treats, enjoy what you like to have, but make sure you plug it into your macros. So if you like to have some chocolate at night, set that aside. Is it like a Ghirardelli one that's, I don't know, 80 or 90 calories? I can't remember what those squares are and what kind of fats in it. Just make sure you log it. And I always find it fun to like log it the night before or log it the morning of, because then you're like, ooh, I get to have that when I get home, or I get to have that tonight after my dinner because it's already logged. So I'm here for you. I'm here to answer all of your questions. Please reach out. I will be connecting with you, obviously, the entire way through. I'm so excited. I can't wait to hear all of your just your goals and when you hit them. So keep track, keep logging things along the way. I would say don't weigh yourself, like every day. I tend to do because I have a biometrics feedback, handheld one that does my body fat and it does all that. I tend to do that every couple days just because I'm kind of like just testing the waters on it right now. But really, like if you want to do it every weekend, you can, or just to kind of see what's going on. But like I said, it takes a little while for the weight to get caught up. Like everything else starts shifting and changing, but it really kind of takes that time. I always notice that it's always by like the week three of the Fit to Cut where I'm like, oh, here it is. Now it's working. So don't get discouraged because it does take time. It is a process. The other thing we are doing, I forgot to mention this, and Lindsay mentioned it in her video. So when you watch it, the last week of this month, we're doing a detox week. And so in our program, you already see the week of food. So you can always kind of like look at what the detox week is going to be, but we're going to dive deeper into that as we get there. So don't stress over it, but it's going to be one of those like it's just going to finish up this program and it's going to, everything, the weight's going to drop off. You're just going to feel really lean, less bloated, all that good stuff. So I'm here for you, to answer any questions you have. I'm so excited for you and yay, we got 4 weeks together. I'm excited. All right. Have a good one. Happy Sunday and let's go.